Hello students, I'm about to do my lesson for Thursday night, the lesson that you're supposed to watch at home on Thursday. You might find it on my website on Wednesday night, and if it's Wednesday night and you're watching this video and you haven't watched Systems of Equations using elimination yet, you should stop this video, go back, and watch Systems of Equations using elimination. So the lesson I'm going to do right now is the lesson you should be watching on Thursday night. And there we go. And that lesson is called System of Equations Story Problems. Now, the worksheet I'm going to have for you to work on, in class on Friday has 10 story problems on it. Excuse me. Let me get a drink of water. Um, 4 of the 10 story problems that are going to be on this worksheet, I actually already covered in a lesson that you should have watched yesterday. So if you haven't yet watched Systems of Equations Using Substitution Part 2 yet, go back, watch that video. That's example 1. The example that you'll find in this video lesson is meant to help you out with numbers 2, 3, 4, and 7 when you get to the worksheet for this problem. I have a second example I'm going to show you right now, and that second example is meant to help you out with 5, 6, 8, 9 because they're all kind of similar. And then numbers 1 and 10, they're a little bit different. I'm just going to leave them for you. So here comes example 2. And where is example 2? It's typed on a piece of paper, and it must be right here. Yes. You are selling gigantic donuts for $3 and lemon bars for $2. One day you sold 180 items, and you made $480. Good job. How much of each item... Oh, wait, not how much did you buy? You were trying to sell these items. So how much of each item did you sell? Question mark. All right, well, if we go back to our lesson from a couple days ago, first thing you need to do is you need to establish some variables. And let's see, we want how much of each item did you sell. So the 2 items are gigantic donuts and lemon bars. So I'm going to have X be the number of gigantic donuts. Delicious. And then my second variable, I can pick any variable I want. Today I'm going to pick the variable W. And the other item was number of lemon bars. So number of lemon bars is going to be my W variable. Now, I mentioned that one day you sold 180 items. Well, if X is the number of gigantic donuts and W is the number of lemon bars, adding up the number of gigantic donuts plus the number of lemon bars will tell me exactly how many items I sold. So if I go X plus W, that must be equal to $180. And now, as I'm selling those X number of gigantic donuts, I'm making $3 per donut. So if I multiply 3 times X, that's going to tell me how much money I made off of donuts. Lemon bars were $2. So if I multiply 2 times W, that's going to tell me how much money I made on lemon bars. And if I add these 2 totals together, that's going to tell me exactly how much money I made, which in this case was $480. Now, when you get to story problems, you can solve these problems using any technique you'd like. And if you already know how to solve this one by hand, I think you're good for this lesson. You could probably stop at this point and start working on some story problems if you wanted to. Or if you haven't watched that other video, go back and watch the other video, Solving Systems of Equations Using Substitution Part 2. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and solve this one pretty quickly. I noticed that I have a single W here and a 2W here. So if I multiply this first equation, everything in the first equation by -2, I get negative 2x minus 2w equals negative 360. And then now I have a 2w and a negative 2w. And when I add these two equations, I end up with x. Nice. I won't even have to do any division. X equals 120. And if x plus w is equal to 180, and x is equal to 120, 120 plus what is 180? That's obviously 60. So x is 120, w is 60, and this is a story problem, so we need to answer our question. And in this case, we sold 120 gigantic donuts and 60 lemon bars. And that was it, everybody. That's it for my lesson. So once again, in this example, if you were able to do this problem and this problem makes sense to you, and then that means that on the worksheet that we'll be working on in class on Friday, numbers 5, 6, 8, and 9 are very similar to this. Different words, different situations, but the same process in terms of setting up your two equations. So once again, make sure that you understand this example here and that you watched Systems of Equations using Substitution Part 2. That has a second story problem example. And students, that is the very final lesson of our first chapter this year. I hope you've enjoyed my video lessons so far this year. And you know, good practice, happy math, happy night. Bye, everybody.